They say home is where the heart is, but for me, home is where the trees are. Today, I want to take you on a little adventure through my rural Tasmanian home. It's called Rivendell, and much like its Tolkien namesake, you can imagine elves and fantasy creatures roaming through the forest. It's full of surprises, so come with me and let's explore it together. So first, a little bit of background about this property. We came here about 13 years ago. We were living in rural Italy at the time, and when we decided to come back to Australia, we chose Tasmania. We'd actually been here on holiday a few times and we loved it. We love the climate here, the fresh air, the natural beauty, the lack of people, it's always a plus, and also property was very good value at the time, although it has gone up. And so we thought, let's settle in Tasmania, and it's really the best decision we ever made. We love hiking, we love nature, so this is the place for us. And this property is 15 acres and it includes a river, a couple of lakes, a forest, and of course lots of native animals, which I absolutely love. Which native animals, you might ask? Well, we have, believe it or not, Tasmanian devils, although I haven't heard them in quite some time. The people that lived here before us actually accidentally trapped one, so I know for sure that they are here, and you can hear them at night time. They have a very distinctive blood-curdling sound. We also have platypus and lots of pademelons and wallabies. Pademelons are just really sort of tiny wallabies. We have bandicoots, we have echidnas, and we have lots of beautiful native birds such as wedge-tailed eagles and sea eagles, as well as native moorhens that we call turbo chooks because they're very fast. We have a family of those that live on the property permanently. And of course we have snakes. If you're wondering about the snakes, yes, we do have them. We have tiger snakes and we have copperheads, as well as another tiny snake called a white-lipped snake. We actually, a few years ago, we actually trained to become snake handlers so that we would be able to capture them and relocate them if we needed to. And that was really useful for us because we do come across quite a few of them in the summer. It's autumn here, as you can see, and there are beautiful yellow leaves all around, and as we go along you'll be able to see what I mean. This place is spectacular in autumn. It's spectacular any time of the year really, but autumn is particularly when the colours come out and you see the real beauty of the trees. Here I am at the river. This is called the Dasher River, and at the moment it's not really much more than a trickle. It's the season where the water hasn't come yet, the rain hasn't come yet. This is a very high rainfall area, and this river does get very big, and sometimes, a few times a year, it breaks its banks and causes some flooding, which is not a problem because we know that happens, and we prepare for it and make sure that we have cleared the banks and the area around it. But as you can see behind me, there are quite a lot of trees that have fallen into the river at the moment. We try and keep it as natural as we can because those trees are really good habitat, particularly for the platypus that lives in this river, who we probably won't see today because she's often out in the evenings and the early mornings. But yeah, it's good to leave these rivers as natural as possible. We do, however, clear out some really large logs so that when the river does flood, it doesn't cause too much damage downstream. I like to leave a little chair there so that I can sit there and meditate, relax, and just think while listening to the running water. I like to walk through here every morning. In fact, I never feel like my morning is complete until I've been on my daily walk. This for me is what I call mobile meditation. So I come here and I think, really, as I walk. I think about things and I solve problems. I run through scenarios in my head. Even business problems, I get really a lot done out here as I'm walking. So it's about 45 minutes a day that I do this. And it's not only good for my health, but it's excellent for my mental health as well. I want to introduce you to my favourite tree. Well, one of my favourite trees anyway. This is an old growth gum tree. It's been here for quite some time because it is absolutely huge. I'll see if I can go up here. Up, 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 up. That's a pretty big tree. But I really love the trunk. It's the sort of trunk where the bark falls off the trunk and then it leaves this beautiful smooth wood underneath. It's beautiful. And I often just come up here and lean my head against the trunk and just listen to the tree. Now we're down on the riverbank and you can see what I mean about trees that fall into the river. We've had quite a few, so we might need to clean some of those out before the rains come and the river swells and starts really rushing along and carrying everything with it. You can see the bank here is full of beautiful river stones. And to me, this is really what Tasmania is all about. When I think of Tasmania, I think of this. I think of beautiful green, lush ferns, water, running waterfalls, and just natural beauty and clean, fresh air. And when there's a bit more water in that river, there are actually fish. So you can walk along here and hear the little fish swimming along, occasionally jumping out of the water. It's lovely. Let's walk down the avenue of birch trees. couple of years ago, we actually had a cyclone here. So the winds were over 200 kilometers an hour, and it was a really, really scary time. We lost a lot of trees. We had a lot of damage to fencing and other things. But the biggest thing for me was the loss of trees. And a lot of trees were just ripped out of the ground by their roots, which was amazing. And so you can see here, there's one behind me, which is a very big tree, still laying on the ground. Most of the trees we've cleaned up by now, but this tree in particular was one of my favorites. It was a huge pine tree, and you can see it's still sticking out of the ground there. It was literally just ripped out of the ground by its roots, and that's the result. As I mentioned, something that I do every morning is go for a walk amongst the trees. So after that horrific cyclone with so many trees missing and down all over the place, I found it very difficult to cope with. I am autistic, and so my constant routine is very important to me, and I just found it difficult to cope with that change, and in fact not even being able to go for a walk for a few days because of the mess. And I did actually suffer a lot of anxiety during that time. And I'm thankful to Rural Alive and Well, who are a rural mental health organisation, for reaching out and really helping not just me, but a lot of people during that time. This is one of the trees that was damaged during the storm, during the cyclone, and the entire top of the tree got ripped off and thrown across our property. So along with all the other trees that we cleaned up and chainsawed and burned, we did the top of this one as well, but we left the stump in because we weren't really sure what would happen if we left it. And so this is what's happened. The branches around the base of the tree have actually lifted themselves up into the air a little bit. They were sort of on the ground, and the top of the tree has all kind of sealed itself up, and it's gone all silvery, as you can see. So the tree has kind of healed itself and is actually looking pretty good. The remaining branches are really healthy, and I don't see any reason to remove that stump. I think it's really interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens to it in the coming years, to see whether maybe it'll grow back. I don't know, but let's see what happens. Behind me is another of my favorite trees. This is a Dawn Redwood, and you can see it's autumn now and the leaves have gone a beautiful reddy orange color. It's actually a deciduous conifer tree, so it does drop its leaves in autumn through winter and grows them again in spring and summer. It's a beautiful tree, and they get massive. I won't live long enough probably to see it get really big, but I love that tree and I talk to it whenever I'm out here. Behind me is a lake that is actually a fairly new lake. We built it a couple of years ago, and it is not full. It will be full, but it's not quite yet. But already it's a wonderful habitat for water birds and fish and all sorts of creatures that love it. You can see also that there's an island, and that's going to have a bridge to it, and I'll show you in a little while how we're building that, and eventually it will be a beautiful place to come and sit and contemplate the world. Here we have the beginnings of the bridge that we're building. So you can see that we've tarred the logs that are going to go to the island there. And according to my husband, it's going to be a Robinson Crusoe style bridge. So it's going to have like a little platform built around that tree there. And then the other part of the bridge you can see just there. So it comes along from this part of the rim of the lake, goes to the little tree platform, and then goes over to the island. It'll be good when it's done. Look how beautiful the pear tree is. And that's our house. It's a small house, but it's where it is. It's all about the location. And I mean, this is the view from the house. That's Mount Roland behind me. This is a beautiful mountain and something we get to look at every day. There's Scotty. That's Rusty. Oh dear. I think we caught Rusty and Chickpea in a bit of an intimate moment. Let's come down here to the other lake. And here's a very nice pathway down to the other lake. There's a little bridge here, you can see it, and it's gone slightly overgrown. We haven't been down here to cut back the plants for a little while, so it's a little overgrown. But you can see over here is the lake. Oh, there's a platypus. There's a platypus. Oh my God. Can you see him? Can you see him? Oh, I hope this is showing on the camera. That was a platypus. You cannot set that up. I'm going to see if I can get him for you again from the other side. this is the other lake, the original lake that was here when we bought this property. Okay, let's go and visit the chickens, shall we? The Rivendell chickens all have names. They're more like my pets than anything. Let's see if anybody is laying an egg. Nope, nobody's laying an egg. Oh, but somebody has laid an egg. Here we go. Something for later on. So now, let's go up into the forest. Lots of mushrooms this time of year. Look at that enormous mushroom. That's huge. So as I'm walking up here, all I can hear are heaps of wallabies just bounding away. They're a bit difficult to see and I can't really get them on camera, but it's all you can hear is wallabies hopping around me. It's just so peaceful up here. You can just listen to the silence. Just the birds, and the trees. It's beautiful. There's something really magical about a mossy rock, don't you think? And so many beautiful man ferns in this forest. These giant ferns that just look prehistoric, ancient. And in keeping with the Tolkien theme of Rivendell, some of the pathways through the forest are named after places in Tolkien books. For example, Overhill. So this is what we call the Southern Corridor. It's basically a corridor of pine trees, and the reason I like it is because it's often filled with black-headed parrots, and they're beautiful Tasmanian parrots. They make a lot of noise, but I love them. They've got such personalities. And take a look at the view from here. I mean, it's not bad, is it? And I want to tell you a little bit about our driveway of birch trees. These trees were all taken or seeded from the mother birch tree, and she stands in our front yard, a beautiful big bushy birch tree that we love. And all of these trees along here were tiny when we first came here 13 years ago, and they've just grown huge. So much so that they now meet in the middle, they touch, and they form a sort of tree tunnel. Particularly you can see that in summer, not so much in autumn because some of the leaves have gone and they're not as bushy as they normally are. But have a look. Hello. There they are. The native moorhens. Turbo chooks because they run really fast. Thank you so much for watching today. Which was your favourite part of Rivendell? For me, I would say the river. I just love the sound of running water and the trees. It's just so peaceful. But let me know in the comments, and if you liked the video today, then please like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you know somebody who would like to visit Tasmania or is just interested in this part of the world, then feel free to share the video. That's all for me, and I will see you in the next video.